Hey guys, it's Dave here. Hope you're having a good week. Today I took a look at what some of the industry experts, analysts, and more mainstream media have been saying about Rocket Lab recently, and I figured I would round it up for you and bring it all into one convenient package. We have actually got a bunch of people talking about Rocket Lab lately. It's great to see a lot more awareness of it and a lot more discussion of it in the media. We have some technical analysis from someone, some CNBC content, a few analyst notes. So I think every little bit helps. The more attention the stock gets, the more money flows into it, the better. We've already seen Spider ETF buying some. We've seen ARK Innovation and ARKX buying some for their funds. And as we get more and more big funds buying it, it'll really help the stock over the long run. So the more of these news pieces we see, the better. So let's go ahead and dive into what everyone has been saying about Rocket Lab lately. Okay, so now we have a quick clip from CNBC's final trade segments where different analysts and investors talk about their final trade. Let's hear what they have to say about Rocket Lab.
My final trade is Rocket Labs. I haven't done all my work on it, but it was a SPAC. They've launched more satellites into space than any other company, and it's proven. It's not like Virgin. So
Except
I think
SpaceX.
the chart, it's starting to pick up, but I'm not really focused on chart. I just think the fundamentals are very, very strong.
Okay, Joey?
Great example of sometimes the stock market and the economy don't correlate. Look at a chart of D.R. Horton continues to...
Okay, so that was it. Just a quick little clip. We have a big investor there looking into Rocket Lab. He's giving it as his final trade, looking at buying Rocket Lab. So great to see we get that coverage from CNBC. A lot of investors are watching this channel, and any awareness brought to the stock is obviously good in the long run. Okay, so starting off with the analyst notes, we have a Deutsche Bank analyst covering the space industry. He downgraded Astrospace to hold from a buy and cut his price target on them to $1 from $2. I always find it's kind of funny when, he's stating a price target that is significantly higher than their current share price, but he's calling it a hold. Always seems funny to me, but that's what he's saying. But he also labeled Rocket Lab as their top pick, which is interesting to see. So analyst Edison Yu told investors in a note ahead of earnings that they are refining their view and updating forecasts for 2023, believing that space talks have largely found a bottom after a brutal 2022. I certainly hope so, and I'm sure a lot of you Rocket Lab investors hope so as well out there. It does feel like we've had a bottom to me after a really rough year, at least for the companies that are performing well like Rocket Lab. But I have been wrong before, so I guess we'll continue to wait and see. He continued on that valuations are now reasonable, especially compared to private markets like SpaceX, valued at $137 billion. And fundamentals show ongoing improvement as the strategic value of space gets realized by large tech companies and governments. We have seen Apple investing in space, as well as a lot of other companies and governments investing more and more in space lately. Moreover, in a recession, space assets will demonstrate counter-cyclical qualities that we believe will eventually resonate with investors. On Rocket Lab, the analyst stated that a significant element of its bull thesis on the stock is that launch capability is scarce and adding capacity is much more difficult than perceived. Have to agree with him there. We've seen a lot of struggles lately for people adding launch capacity. This theme was confirmed at our Global Space Summit. By the way, I did talk a little bit about his Global Space Summit back in November when it happened. If you want to check out my previous video, you can look it up in my videos on the channel. Since then, we have seen further evidence of this dynamic with the failure of 4 missions, all small or medium-class rockets, including the ABL RS-1, Ariane Space Vega C, Virgin Orbit with Launcher 1, and Chinese rocket that I cannot pronounce. As a leader in small launch with Electron, we believe Rocket Lab is a beneficiary of such outcomes, mainly ABL and VORB setbacks. I do have to agree with that because they would be competitors, really, as it becomes increasingly the only option for customers, which is a positive for backlog and pricing. Would be nice if they could continue to grow that massive backlog Rocket Lab does have, as well as raise their prices for Electron. Always helpful for margins. And then he continues to go on that Astra is facing harsh realities. I won't talk too much about this part. I've said before that I don't have a lot of confidence in Astra. Although despite that, on the day this article was released, Astra was up 9% while Rocket Lab was only at 5%. It really just seems like a lot of... I don't know. Stocks have been moving irrationally, not based on, what the fundamental underlying company is doing. So hopefully that changes in the future. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, please subscribe down below for future videos. It'll really help out the channel, and I appreciate every like and subscriber. Now let's continue on with the coverage. Then we have an analyst named Gianni D. Posts. I hope I pronounced that right. He works with a research company and also does technical analysis, trading ideas, and market commentary. And basically, he said that the stock looks like it is coiling within a rounding bottom pattern, and the company has a diversified revenue stream with potential for growth. His price target for Rocket Lab is $7.50 to $8 per share. So, I'm definitely not an expert of technical analysis, though I do look at it quite often. If there's a company I already want to buy based on the fundamentals, I might take a look at the technicals to see what a good entry point is, but I don't buy based only on the technical analysis alone. That being said, if this is a bullish sign, and it looks to me like we have kind of bottom here, hope we have anyway, then I'm definitely happy to see any bullish signs in the technicals that we do get. I know some of you guys out there were hoping to be able to buy Rocket Lab in the twos. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, but I have been known to be wrong in the past. So if you do get to buy the stock in the twos, I'll be the first one to congratulate you. Bank of America analyst Ronald Epstein said 2023 could be a big rebound year for space investors. I think we all hope so, watching this channel. Epstein said the severe underperformance of space stocks last year was driven by several specific factors, including negative sentiment towards SPACs, lack of profitability, and limited institutional investor interest. Yeah, I think we know a lot of those factors that were kind of working against us over 2022. In terms of bullish catalysts ahead, Epstein says space stocks should enjoy several bullish catalysts this year, the most compelling of which is strong demand for space technology that may open the door for ongoing consolidation. We have seen a bunch of consolidation recently. I know Maxar was previously acquired in a big deal. That was quite surprising to me, but they were valued quite richly. I know we had someone in the Discord who owned their stock. I think he got at least like a 50% premium on the current share price, so he's pretty happy to have them acquired. And Lockheed Martin was also investing $100 million in Terran Orbital. And by the way, Lockheed is also a pretty sizable investor in Rocket Lab as well. So I wouldn't call them, the enemy just because they're old space, really. They have invested in some of these new players, which is always nice to see. Continuing on from Epstein, we continue to see the space industry as ready for consolidation, given attractive valuations and liquidity concerns at smaller space companies. How would you feel, by the way? I'm curious. Let's say Rocket Lab got bought out at, what are we today? A little under $5. Let's say they got bought out for $8 or $9. I'm really curious if you would be happy that you got a good return on your investment. You're getting bought out for $9 a share. Overnight almost your shares would go up very significantly, but you would lose out on future growth. For me, I'd be pretty disappointed. I have to be honest. I'm hoping to be in Rocket Lab for the long run, 5 years plus, and I think they could do much better. So I personally hope they would not get acquired, but curious to hear if any shareholders out there would love a short-term acquisition like what happened with Maxar. Anyway, how to play it. Epstein said he expects bifurcation between top performers and bottom performers in the space industry in 2023. I think we all saw 2022, like basically every space stock got smashed regardless of how they performed, maybe to varying degrees, but Rocket Lab got smashed along with, Astra and some of these other players that struggled to perform. Planet Labs has really met their expectations, but they still got hit hard, and a lot of these other companies that have been performing well. So I'd be perfectly happy to see companies rewarded based on how the underlying company is performing, as opposed to just kind of trading on the industry and the overall markets. He expects appetite for growth stocks will return in the coming months, but only for growth stocks with viable business models. Again, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Companies with tangible strategies have tremendous potential upside following the 2022 sell-off, while others may remain grounded. Have to agree with that as well. I think there is a tremendous potential in some. Others are quite scary investments that I think could have liquidity concerns, and I wouldn't touch. So you have to be very careful with this industry. It's definitely not buy everything by any means. Bank of America's two buy-rated space stocks heading into 2023 are Astra Space and Rocket Lab Inc. Okay, so I was with Epstein here for a lot of what he was saying, but Astra Space, I have a lot of liquidity concerns around them. I think they really haven't proven their launch capability. Their engines, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they kind of purchased the design to that engine that they're currently selling anyway, so it's not even really like a something they designed in-house. And yeah, I just don't have the belief in Astra. Sorry to any of Astra investors out there watching this. Obviously, I don't wish any investor ill, and if you are an Astra investor, I hope you do well on your investments. Then just taking a quick look at tip ranks at the latest analyst updates we've had. So most recently, last month, we had a $12 buy rating maintained from Stifel analyst Rasmussen, and now he has a 4.5 star rank rating, so that's a great rating for him. We also have Epstein, which we just covered recently, with a buy rating. 3 out of 5 stars, still pretty decent. And as you go down, we have some varying price targets, one sell, and some higher price targets. So overall, we're looking at a strong buy for Rocket Lab. So that's the roundup of coverage I have for you today. Overall, pretty favorable coverage in the media for Rocket Lab. We see them finally getting a bit of love lately on CNBC. It's nice to see some of these bigger name investors taking a look at it, as well as the analysts pretty much all giving it a buy, the ones who have had updates lately. So interesting to see. I really do hope that we've hit a bottom here and that space stocks will see a better 2023, as some of these analysts seem to expect. And obviously hearing that it's a top pick for one of them is great to hear as well. What did you think of these reports? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Hope you guys have a great week. Bye for now.